Yay, yay, yay. I'm really excited that we're coming. I'm not excited we're coming to the end of May, but we still have plenty of time left to do what we need to do. Um, and so I say this because I've took some notes from the hot call, some sales ideas that I'm gonna throw out to you at the end. But we're gonna, oh, I need prayer right now. So let's just open up in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for all of us that are watching and everybody that's watching the replay. I pray that you just put your hands upon us and give us your wisdom, give us your miracles, give us, healing over our bodies, our families, and wherever we need healing, Lord. I just pray that you give us peace, that we make the right decisions and the wisdom to do the things that you want us to do, and not the things that we want to do, but the things you want us to do. Lord, I pray this um, just to bless everybody that's listening, Lord. Let them pick out the things that they hear and implement the things that you give them to do. I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay. So, um, anyway, so let's get started. I actually listened to my friend did a boss babe. That's her name of her Monday Night Lives. But she had Dawn Otten Sweeney on there, National Sales Director, Dawn Otten Sweeney as a guest. And she actually, the title, let me see what the title was. It caught my eye because we talk about it all the time. So I'm going to play it. I listened to it and I just think it needs to be said. So if you're watching live, you need on Facebook, you need to put hashtag live. If you're watching the playback, put hashtag replay. Okay, so the name of this little part that they did, hold on. It's on being a business owner or an order taker. Business owner versus order taker in your Mary Kay business. They just did this training yesterday. So I really think that people can benefit from it. It might shift your mind a little bit. It might give you some ideas. And then after this, I play part of this video. Then we're going to talk about sales and what you can do because Memorial Weekend is coming up on. So what you could do, some ideas to help you do this last part of May to get you some sales. So let's go ahead and let me screen share with sound, maybe. There we go. Share. Okay.
All right, well, hey, everybody, this is the Dawn and Cleta show. And you're going to be so glad that you are on here tonight because if nothing else, we have a good time. We have a good time, and we're going to talk to you a little bit tonight. First of all, let me just stop and say that I am a Pink Cadillac trip winning sales director with Mary Kay, and I have been in Mary Kay for 39 years. September will be 40 years. It's hard for even me to even believe. Today, Dawn is celebrating her anniversary 39 years with Mary Kay, which is so amazing. Isn't it surreal, Dawn, when you think about how long we've been in?
Yeah.
So I'm going to say a little bit about Dawn, and then we're going to talk about some things. First of all, I met Dawn back in the 90s, I believe, when she lived in St. Simons Island, Georgia. And she came over to do a guest event. My friend Deborah Bishop, I think, is the one that invited you, Dawn. Over at my church, I believe is where it was. And I just remember her coming in. She was a top director. I don't know if you had done Million yet, but just a ball of fire and a ball of energy. And our lives have stayed connected all these many years. She went to Michigan she'll tell you some of her stuff, but I ended up having a bunch of people in Michigan. So I would go to Michigan and see her. And then Dawn really has just became a mentor of mine, and she gives me sound advice when I need it. She honestly, she makes me a better person and a better leader because like one of the things we're doing right now is a book study. And I'm telling you, I do like
up in here because I like to snack.
If I'm doing a book study, guess what? I read the whole thing. And it's like the only time I really read the whole thing. So thank you, Dawn. There's been several books that she has suggested we do, and it's really helped me. So, Dawn, why don't we just start out a little bit and let's just talk about when you and I signed up, what we're talking about the difference in being a business owner and an order taker.
Mhm.
And we do take orders, but we had a different mentality, different mindset when we joined.
Mhm.
So why don't you share a little bit about when you joined and kind of
Mhm.
when you joined, what were you thinking you were going to be doing?
Okay, yeah, that I've thought about that a lot today because 39 years, I think about, you know, 39 years it was in person, obviously, because we didn't have this virtual, we didn't have the internet. So way back then. But I mean, had been living in Cleveland only less than a year. Was recruited for a job out of business school at the University of Michigan. So I moved to Cleveland for that. I was engaged to my now husband, so that will be 38 years of marriage in June. And I was already disillusioned with what the working woman of the 80s looked like. Like I had my picture of it, and you have a picture of something, but it just doesn't match up. And seeing the women working 80 hours a week, and it never ended. It wasn't like you put in your time at the beginning and then you had more flexibility. They were still working 80 hours a week, and I was still broke. There was more month than money. I was in credit card debt, and I was getting a little bit depressed, which I haven't spent much time in my life being depressed, fortunately, by the grace of God. But I was like thinking, this is it. Like, this is what I went 4 years to college for and worked so hard to get into a good school and worked so hard to get this great job. And I'm going to work for 2 to 4 weeks vacation a year. And that was in the mid to late 80s. So we were seeing our first round of white collar layoffs in the United States. And I saw my mom's brother, my uncle, who was a vice president with a big bank, worked internationally, lose his job. And just their life unraveled, like unraveled. It did not end well. And it just was like a little seed. Like you look at little breadcrumbs that God leaves along the way. And I just went, okay, I'm going to put all this time in, and then it for something that had nothing to do with me, the economy and industry, you could have nothing. And so I was sitting in a mall doing competitive shopping report, and Debbie Moore, who wished me happy anniversary this morning, who became my director and then my national and mentor, she was teaching a new consultant how to meet people. Because when people start their business, one of the things they're most scared of is like, how do I get customers? And we teach you how to get customers. That's the beauty of Mary Kay, that the only people that get to teach have already proven to the company that they know how to get customers. They know how to manage inventory and manage money and take care of a team. And so you get to take advantage of as much or a little of that as you want to. But I saw Debbie Moore nudge Nancy Murata and go talk to her. And so Nancy, when she started her business, her family and friends weren't supportive. And sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. Mine were not, because this was in the mid 80s. It was very different than the time frame we're in now, where people look at direct sales as a viable option. Back then, when I started, it was considered, at least with my family and friends, to be something you did when you were either raising kids or you couldn't do anything else. And I mean, that, sad to say, was my perception of it. But I saw Debbie Moore, and she was sharp as a tack. Like, she looked like what I thought I was going to look like, but I couldn't afford to look like that because they weren't paying me enough money. And so when Nancy came and asked me to be a face model, I said, sure. Who do you work for? She said, Mary Kay. I'm like, that sounds fun. And I go, but what does she do? Like, I want to know what that one does with, some of her Mary Kay rings on, sharp as a tack in a mall in the middle of the day. And she said, well, she makes a 6-figure income. She left teaching to do this. She has a small child, drives a pink Cadillac. Honestly, once she got past 6-figure income, I was fine. My fiance at that time was becoming a federal agent. So I'm like, if, 6-figure income, she's selling Mary Kay, that's legal, sounds good to me, because I knew I'd have to go back and get my master's, and probably even then wouldn't make that much money. And so I was invited to have a facial, me and my roommate. She came over to our apartment, fell in love with skincare, and then went to a guest event. So that was this night, 39 years ago. And the first half of it, and some of you who are guests may go, why are they even talking about this? Like, most people don't sit around and talk about why they started their job and why they love it. And they don't even want to see the people they work with. Like they're not getting on Zoom at 8 p.m. at night to see their coworkers. Like usually they want the weekends to happen so they're away from their coworkers. I didn't want to, spend any more time with them than I already did for the most part because we didn't pick them. And Mary Kay, we get to pick who we work with, and it attracts this genre of women that I fell in love with that night. That I really like, that wasn't who I was friends with in college and high school. I never really felt like I fit in. And when I was at that event, I saw women being congratulated and encouraged and given rounds of applause. The thrones and the crowns, that I thought was a little goofy, but God has a great sense of humor because when we were the #1 unit, I couldn't have been happier to sit on a throne and have flowers and have my family on the side of me and a crown. But Mary Kay was so wise. She was giving women stuff that they didn't have. Cinderella gifts and recognition for doing a good job in front of their peers and unlimited income. And so I saw these women and I knew that they had something that I didn't have. And so I figured for, $100, I'd spent $100 on stupider things that I fell in love with the product. So at least getting it a half off, that would help. And if I could just get my credit card bills paid down, that would be nice before I said I do at the altar versus I do. And oh yeah, there's like a Visa, a MasterCard, and who knows how many others. Because in the 80s, if you had one credit card, they'd give you as many as you wanted.
True.
And I took advantage of them fully. And so Mary Kay, I'm like, this is great. Like I can earn trips, I can earn diamond rings, and I can make enough money to change my financial situation. So I fell in love with hopefully what you all leave tonight with, that there's more to Mary Kay than selling lipstick. But I love 39 years later that what Cleta and I are sharing with you, it's even a better opportunity for you than it was when we started almost, 40 years ago. Because it wouldn't be very fun to sit on here and me and Cleta can have this conversation, but say, well, gosh, you guys can't really have it because the market's saturated, or they'll only allow so many people to be in these top positions. That's not true at all. I mean, actually, it's easier for you all because you get virtual or in person. You get this hybrid that, we never had when we were building our businesses. And I do believe that what Mary Kay offered women in the early 60s as business owners is even more needed and desired and relevant than it was 39 years ago. So, I mean, before I got on, I'm like, after 39 years, you feel like you've said everything over and over, but I don't know who's listening to this now and who's going to listen to it, but I would do it all over again.
Me too.
I would do it all over again. Every day has not been unicorns and rainbows and, chocolate sundaes. We're not going to lie and tell you that because people are challenging and life is messy. And this is workplace ministry also. And so it gets real messy, but I wouldn't change this path and this opportunity. And I'm so grateful that Debbie Moore made Nancy Murata come and talk to me. And then Nancy followed through and, offered that facial and then followed through and offered me an opportunity to hear about this because, our job isn't to decide for people. It's to give them the opportunity to listen.
Absolutely.
And so hopefully, consultants and guests like jot down names like, oh, she needs to hear this, or this would be good for her, or God just lays her on her heart. Like, don't decide for her. Give her an opportunity to hear the information like you've been offered and like Cleta and I have, because some come in for a season, some a reason, and we've chosen the long haul, and that any of those three, I've never seen anyone leave worse for the wear.
Absolutely.
So where were you, Cleta, 40 years ago? So you've been in this the longest.
I know. I'm the great grandmother. I actually graduated from college in December of 1984. And then I had a facial with Mary Kay 6 months later. I think it was around June. And my grandmother sold Mary Kay in the 60s. I had 2 aunts that sold Mary Kay. Now, I didn't use Mary Kay growing up, but it's the only makeup I saw my mother use. But in my mind, it was for my grandma and my mama. So in college, I didn't use it. I used some other, just honestly, like Walmart brand. but my background was computers. I was a business analysis major with a background in computers. And so my first job was at Harding University as the administrative computer center manager, but just making slightly over minimum wage, like slightly. And so this gal asked me to have a facial. She talked to me. I mean, she worked at the Harding too, and she did Mary Kay part-time, but she was a good consultant, and she kept on and on and on. And finally, I'm like, fine, I'll do it. So I went to her house. I had a facial. I don't know if you remember this, Dawn, but they used to have this color wheel, and you checked off the colors that you liked the best, and then they'd either do you in cool or warm colors. And
Uh-huh.
mine was all over the place. So she did one eye with blue eyeshadow and the other eye with, she said I was a, bipolar, whatever consultant, color, whatever.
Poor
I
girl.
couldn't decide. Yeah. So I had the facial, and you guys, my skin was always super oily and broken out. When I left, I thought my skin feels amazing. And I did not bring any money because honestly, my take home was $120 a week. That's all it was. And so I didn't have any money, so I didn't bring any money. She let me pay $20 a week for three Thursdays in a row. That's when we got paid. Believe me, it was a good investment on her part. So I bought that skincare set, some foundation, some concealer. I booked a party because I thought, look, I can get that glamour at half, free. And so, because I couldn't afford it. So I booked a party. All my friends came. I thought they probably won't buy anything. They all bought. And guess what? They booked 3 parties. And my mother was the one, I was telling her about it. And she said, Cleta, you ought to sell that. She goes, they give you some extra money. I had just called them because I needed 4 new tires. They're probably like, we paid for your college. In fact, I had just got married and we're still paying your bills. I mean, you're going to have to do something, Cleta. So I got to tell y'all this. Today I thought I want to find this folder that they gave me because I told my consultant about that I was interested, and she gave me this folder. And I looked. I've moved 14 or 15 times since then, and just recently moved. And I have a storage room. I mean, it's really like a container building. And I was sweating to death trying to find it. Didn't find it, but I did find this. Okay, I hope y'all can see this. And it says, this time next week, you can be in business for yourself. And she gave me a folder and this cassette tape. Yes, for you young people, that's what these look like. And so I listened to that thing and I read the folder and I thought, my dad owns his own printing company. He has, and we still have the family business. He started it. And I thought, I've always wanted to start my own business. So what I want to tell you about this little crazy cassette tape is that when I signed my beauty consultant agreement, and I didn't do it right off the bat because at first the starter kit at the time was $85, and I did not have $85, and Mary Kay did not take credit cards. Okay,
Right.
it's cash only. So I thought, I'm out. But she kept on and on and on. And guess what she did? She brought me to a guest event at the director's house. I walked in there and I saw all these sharp dressed women with business suits and heels. And I'm like, I got to figure this out somehow, some way. So my parents sent me the next day an envelope, and inside that envelope was the title to my car. So y'all, if I didn't go straight to the bank, which I had like probably $60 in, and tell them I wanted a business loan. And so, of course, when I told them how much, they're like, man, that's a personal loan. I said, well, I'm starting a business. And to me, it was only $1,000, but to me, 1,000 was like 20,000. I mean, it's more than I had. And I wanted to invest, not only get my kit, but I wanted to buy some products because when she sold me that product, I had a facial. She came out with the bag. I'm an impulse buyer. Had she not, I would have just canceled my order because I would think, I can't do it, So I just want to tell y'all, when we signed up, Dawn and I, when I signed up, my director, once I signed up, and I went ahead and invested in a little bit of inventory. She said, okay, you need to book 8 parties and you need to hold 5 in your first 2 weeks. And I said, well, when does it start? She said, well, you signed up today. And y'all, by the way, it was on September the 13th, 1985. It was Mary Kay's anniversary. And so Mary Kay will tell you my anniversary is the 16th because we had to mail it in. But I'm telling you, I signed up on the 13th. So anyway, it came in. I mean, she said, you start a week from today. I said, what's my kit's not in? She goes, that's okay. We'll loan you ours. Y'all, they did not play. I said, okay. So I booked 8 parties and I held 3 my first week. I sold $400. And I sell my other 5 the next week, you guys.
Mhm.
And so when we started, we signed up to work, is what I kind of want to say to y'all.
Mhm.
And Dawn, how about you? Were you, and they call that the perfect start. Were you
Right.
encouraged to do like parties right off the bat?
There wasn't an option. Like
Right.
there was not an option. Like that was building the business. And so and I find it interesting. We both were broke because I had to write a post-dated check for my starter kit.
Yeah.
And that means you don't have money in your account.
Right.
But back in the day, you could get it in there
Yes.
before the check cleared.
Yeah.
Like I got really good at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so and they were doing a drawing. Someone that night was getting a free starter kit, and Debbie Moore answered every single one of my questions that night before that drawing, which I'm grateful for, because if she would have let me go think about it, I would have chickened out. I would have talked my way out of it, or I would have listened to family and friends that went, "What? You have a business degree from the University of Michigan. You're doing what?" Or then someone always has to add, "I knew, so-and-so's sister-in-law's niece's next door neighbor, pen pal that tried that and it didn't work for her." All this encouraging information. And so I know, because I have in Mary Kay in my 39 years, God's worked people pleasing out of me very painfully, but I'm so grateful for that, because my kids are not people pleasers at all. Like they live their life for an audience of one. That's it. And so I wrote a post-dated check because I told Debbie Moore, like I was broke, but I was still confident that if I tried something, I would put 150% into learning how to be good at it. And I told her, if I do this, I want your job. She was a sales director. And she said, "Come on, I want you to have my job." And to me, that was so refreshing, because the women that were in the positions above me in corporate America at that time, if I ever would have said, I'm here because I want your job, like I can guarantee you they would not have helped me. They weren't helping me anyways, because there's only one position in corporate America or in the school system or in the hospital for each job, right? So you can't have their position unless they're fired, they die, they quit, they go on maternity leave. And so when I said, if I do this, I want your job. And she said, "Come on, let's do it."
Yeah.
And what I love about that relationship is it's gone on for 39 years. And even though she's retired, she's still calling, like, "It's time for a catch-up call. How are you doing?" Because in Mary Kay, you end up not only being mentored in business, but also in life. Like I wasn't married yet, and she was, 10 years ahead of me with a child and a marriage and building a business. And I wanted the life she had, not just the income she had. Whereas I had seen what I was groomed for out of college is I may have wanted their paycheck, but I didn't want their life. So that night, wrote the post-dated check. And then the next day, Debbie invites me to her home to go through my business start. And it was book 8 to hold 5 in 2 weeks. And it was 2 weeks from the night that I signed up. I was working 80 hours a week. I think I signed something that said I wouldn't do any other jobs too, not sure. But I was engaged, and my husband's job was not, as a federal agent, was not going to put us in Cleveland, Ohio. So we knew we were going to be stationed someplace else. And I knew that I needed more money, because he was going to be making $14,400 a year before taxes.
Yeah.
To risk his life as a federal agent with a 4-year college degree. So the other agents at that time were on food stamps. We weren't, because of Mary Kay. And so she sat down, she, went over book 8 to hold 5. Nancy gave me my products at my facial. So I wanted to be able to do the same thing, be a business owner. She went through all the different options. And you guys, like back in the day, you got free product on your first order. That was it. Now your first 4 months, you can get thousands of dollars of free product for team building and selling, because the company knows that if you have products, you'll sell them. People, it's cash and carry. People want to wash their face the next morning with it, not wait for you to, deliver it. And Mary Kay was in direct sales herself 25 years before she started this company. And so one of the things that she allowed us to do is to have inventory. We get to. all other direct selling companies at that time, no one could have inventory. Everyone was an order taker. And she knew that she could have sold so much more if she could deliver on the spot. And so that made sense to me. But then I was scared because I'm like, I wrote a postage check, so that means I don't have enough money. And I have these credit cards, so I'm going to take out another line of credit to pay them off. But Debbie explained to me, you're going to pay for your Mary Kay line of credit with the money you make with your Mary Kay business. The first party of the month makes your Mary Kay loan payment. But then rest of the profit, you're paying down those lines of credit, consumer debt, where the interest is not a tax deduction. Because even though this is not a business loan, like they told Cleta at the bank, it's still for a business. So it makes the interest a tax deduction. It's a business expense. So to me, like that made sense. Like someone's teaching me how to run a business, because that is how to run a business. When you start a Mary Kay business, this is not a consumer purchase. You are not going to Belk's or Costco and buying, $1,000, $2,000, $7,000, $10,000 worth of product. You're buying product that you're making 50% on. And then Mary Kay sealed the deal because she didn't want any woman to be afraid to be a business owner. So she started a 90% buyback right from the beginning.
Mhm.
So if you start a Mary Kay business, anytime from like the last 12 months, if you decide to quit anything you ordered in that 12 months that you didn't sell, Mary Kay Inc. will buy it back from you at 90% of what you paid for it. And you guys think about that. My brother opened up restaurants right before 2008 and 9 and in Michigan. So there was housing bubble crash all over the country and the auto industry crash. So those two businesses went bankrupt. And it was just timing. It wasn't anything that he did. It's just bad timing. No one's buying back his cookers for 90%. No one's buying back all his hamburgers and buns at 90%. No one's buying back your house when the market crashes. No one's buying back your education if you don't get a job, your car if you decide not to pay for it, etc. Mary Kay believed in women so much and wanted them to at least give themselves a 10% chance. And if you sell the products you get for free, you're risking nothing. Actually, the people who train you are risking, because we're going to pour all of our wisdom and knowledge into you and belief into you to help you get your business up and running. So I trusted Debbie. Honestly, I trusted her, and she's never proven to be untrustworthy. I mean, I think that's a huge piece in our business, is that I was trained by Mary Kay Ash. I went to her home for new director training. And then Daylene White, one of her first 9 consultants, was my national. She was right in Brunswick, Georgia, when I became a director and executive senior. But I've never had anyone in Mary Kay give me advice that was in their best interest. It's not manipulative. They just told me the best business advice, and then I got to make my decisions about it, which I love. I don't like people making decisions for me. I like to be able to say yes or no, that makes sense or not. And so even though I was broke and I was 23 years old and I was working 80 hours a week and I didn't know where I was moving, but I needed to make money because we were not going to be able to make it on $14,400 before taxes, because my husband, even back then, ate more than that. So that was not going to work. And I didn't want to have to be on food stamps if I didn't have to, because I could do something. And so I am so grateful that she taught me how to be a business owner, because if I could go to a party after my 80-hour-a-week job and have cash flow immediately, I was motivated to do more parties. Whereas if I wasn't making any cash flow, I'm not sure how long I would have wanted to work 80 hours a week and do Mary Kay on the side. Like, I really didn't need a side hustle. I needed a plan to get out of debt, and then a plan to change my job situation, because I didn't love it. And some people do love their jobs. They can do it as long as they want. But I loved that this gave me a vehicle out, because my parents were real clear. Once I got out of college, they're like, okay, our job's done. It's yours now. So there was no, like, I'm running short, I need more money. I've loved that I could take my starter kit. Like in Mary Kay, once you have a consultant number, and some people don't like this because it's easier to say we can't afford it because my job only gives me so much money. If you have a job and you and or your spouse are employed, you only make so much money. They're not going to give you any more, even if you need it. But in Mary Kay, you can't say you can't afford something any longer. So if you're listening as a consultant or a guest on here and there's something that you want or need and you're willing to work for it, we can teach you how to match that need or that dream up with the Mary Kay business plan. So I have never known this any other way than as a business.
Yeah.
And that this is an important conversation because a lot has happened in the 40 years we've been in, Cleta, in our society and in our world. And so we're at a point in time that we need to have this conversation so those in Mary Kay and those thinking about it know what Mary Kay was offering women, because it's as needed now, as I said, I think even more in 2025 than it was in 1963.
Let's talk about a minute. One of the things that like an order taker comes in, sometimes they come in and they're like, I'm just going to sign up and sell Mary Kay and see what happens. Okay. And they don't put any time or effort in even learning how to do the business. And I know Dawn didn't sell makeup before Mary Kay, and I sure didn't. And we had to be trained. I had seen a party because I went to one, but that's about it. And so let's talk about showing up to go up. And one of the things that we have is regular, like what they used to tell us is we're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. So you have sales meetings that you can attend, and now you can do on Zoom in your, have a cute shirt on and your pajamas on the bottom. We don't even care. Or you can have in-person meetings. But when I signed up, the sales meeting was an hour away on Monday nights. They're like, you're expected to go. And I never did not go, y'all, to the sales meeting. And then when I signed up in September. The first big event was Career Conference for me in March. And they're like, you need to go. It's in Dallas. And I'm like, okay. So I went to Career Conference. Then 3 months later, they're like, you need to go to seminar, and it's 4 days, and this is how much it costs. And, I was not a sales director. I was still working my job. My husband was in school playing basketball all the time. And not the one I have right now. But anyway, but I'm just saying we didn't have a lot of extra money. But so my director put me with another girl and 2 other people we did not know. And we just went to Dallas and we roomed together. And you guys, I just have to tell you, what I thought about Mary Kay was like, once I went to see Mary Kay Ash, the woman, I thought, okay, this is like the real deal. These people are making real money. We get these applause magazines in the mail, and in the applause magazines, they always have showed, and y'all know other company does this. I'm just telling you. They show what people make, like their checks, how much everybody makes. Would y'all not buy, if you work, all of the guests that work another job or even consultants, if every week on Friday they just typed up all y'all's checks and put what everybody made, people would have a hissy fit. So we would look in here and I'd look at these women. I'm like, if she could do it, I can do it. I know I'm young, but I know I can do it, And so I want to show you something. And then Dawn, you can talk about, I'll just tell you that I've never missed seminar. This will be my 40th in a row, ever. Yeah. So Dawn talked about this the other day. I became a sales director. I don't know.
You still have it.
Girl, and look how dirty it is. I became a sales director in 1989. And so when did you become a sales director? Was it around the same time?
I was a sales director. I started in 86 and then 88, and I earned my first Cadillac in 89.
Okay, so I won my first, the Red Grand Am in 88, and then I became a sales director in 89 because that's how it worked then. So when we went to Dallas, it's like I finished February 1st, and then we flew to Dallas for director training. It's not like, are you going to go? Everybody goes. And when we got there, y'all, the last day, they gave us this. Now, this is why, look, if you're just an order taker, do you need a white leather briefcase? I don't think so. But y'all, look how nice it is still on the inside.
Wow.
And so they gave us this. I walked out of there thinking I was hot stuff with that. I mean, I was 26 years old with a briefcase. Yeah. And one of the things they gave us, I want to show this. Dawn, you may have, I'm sure you got it. They gave us this little marble. It was inside the briefcase. I know, how can I even have this 40 years later, And it says the golden rule on here: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Mary Kay Ash was a Christian. Mary Kay Ash wanted us to do this business the right way and wanted us to bless others. And any decision we made, they would say, okay, if you're the customer, how would you want to be treated? If you were the consultant and you're the director, how would she want to be treated? And of course, this is from the Bible. Mary Kay didn't make it. And so I just wanted to mention when you girls that if you sign up, I hope you do, give yourself the opportunity to learn what you're doing. And you can learn through your mentor to be your sales director. You can learn by attending your sales meetings. You can learn by going on In Touch. We have a back office. Like when Dawn and I signed up, there was no www nothing. I remember the first time I saw a t-shirt that said www Mary Kay. What is www? Who even knows, right? And so you have all the advantages of skills that you could teach yourself by just studying, but you also have a person that has done it for you. I just want to, Dawn, talk about that a minute, about your commitment and your director, about how they encouraged us to go to every.
Oh, everything. It was, and there are, like, when Cletus talked about this, I'm like, it's the same story, but you'll find that people who are successful in Mary Kay, they play by the rules of the game. And one of the rules to the game was you are a business owner, like you give on the spot delivery. So, some people start with full inventory, some build it up because like financially they couldn't, that's fine, but they still were making business owner decisions. Also too, Debbie Moore said, I, signed up mid-May. And so seminar, we're signing up for now, right? We're going to Charlotte this year because the Dallas Convention Center is under construction. So it'll be the first time ever we're in Charlotte for a seminar. But Debbie said, you need to go to seminar. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I just posted a check for my starter kit, took out another line of credit for my inventory, and I'm going to seminar. And she's like, yep. And I'm like, I can't. I hit all the things. I'm getting married. I'm moving. I mean, it's not the right time. It's not the right blah. She's like, no, you need to go to seminar. And she would not take no for an answer. And seriously, I've thanked her. I've thanked her for not letting me leave that room that night with all my questions answered, so I can make a decision based on faith versus fear and fact versus fiction. Because what was in my head was for sure fear and fiction. And she also then said, you need to go to seminar. Like, it's not an option. It's a congruent decision with the business owner. You want to make this money. You want to, run this, whether it's part-time or full-time, still a business owner doesn't mean 40 hours a week. A business owner is the choices you're making with your money management and also the things like events. And she said, seminar, you need to go to seminar. I'm like, she would not take no. And you guys, that sealed the deal for me, because right after seminar, I then moved to where my husband was stationed. And I remember getting there going, oh my gosh, like, really? Like, this is where we're living. Like, we didn't have the internet, so you really didn't know what places look like. You didn't know until you got there. And I remember driving in going, wow, this is far from Detroit and Cleveland. Like, Dorothy is not in Kansas City any longer. But I was grateful for Mary Kay, because no matter where you go in our country or in our world, women love to feel better about themselves. They love to have a personal beauty consultant. I was in an area that more than 3/4 of the people didn't speak a word of English. And I didn't speak the language they were speaking, but I got my flip chart in that language and my brochures in that language. And you can flip, squirt, and smile. And they'd love how their face looked. And they're smiling and they're having fun with their girlfriends and they're complimenting each other and they're giving me cash. I'm like, I can do this. But if I wouldn't have gone to seminar and had seen the women, one was on a throne as an 85-year-old Cadillac sales director, legally blind, and someone was driving her Cadillac for her. One was an 18-wheel truck driver, the consultant who had sold the most product. And I promise you, when Mary Kay was crowning her, that national had her fingers crossed that 4-letter words were not coming out of her mouth. And then the other one had never had a car before she earned a Mary Kay car. She started her business and she had our starter kits back then kind of look like that briefcase, but they were pink. They were more mauve, but they were square and hard. And you'd open them up and it was like a science experiment. It had all these tubes with just words on it and everything with just white creams in it. But she had taken that bike with the starter kits on both sides of the baskets, and it earned her car in Mary Kay. And I
Absolutely.
remember leaving that arena going, okay, if they can do it, I absolutely can do it too. And so I believed that I could, which is what those events do for you, because Mary Kay always taught us the only thing that's going to hold you back is this 6 inches. That's it. And I've seen that. I've seen people say the town's too small. I don't know anyone. I don't have enough time. You know, my kids are old, my kids are young. I'm married, I'm not married. You know, I'm taking care of aging parents. I'm whatever. There's for every excuse to not do it. Cleta and I have been long enough that we know someone or we've experienced ourselves.
We did it ourselves. Yeah.
We did it ourselves. Yeah, exactly.
It's the
And
truth.
so, yeah,
Mhm.
seminar, and you guys right now, so people who are thinking about the business, get your consultant number and get registered and join us in Charlotte.
Yeah.
On the other side of it, it's the best motivational event you've ever been to. It's like getting your MBA in business. It is the best Christian conference. I've had women who run Christian conferences, they're speakers, or they go to them. They'll leave a Mary Kay conference and go, that was the best women's Christian conference I've ever been to. And it's a company conference. Seriously good girlfriend time, encouraging, sharpening. Mary Kay knew women needed it. You need to get out of your life sometimes and do something. It gives you an opportunity to get clear on what God made you to do and how he's wired you. Because otherwise, like, gosh, I know people who have spent the last 39 years and they're still broke.
Yeah.
They're still post-dating checks. They still don't have money. And they haven't grown at all as people. Because like Cleta started off with books, Mary Kay said, you're going to become like the 5 books you've most recently read. And I was a little concerned by that because I was reading Cosmo magazine and Danielle Steele novels.
That's what I was reading, Danielle Steele.
Yeah.
No, so bad.
Thank goodness, Mary. God's like, these
Thank
girls are not
goodness.
getting it. They need a
Right.
little intervention here.
Thank you. That's the truth. That's the truth. Well, listen, let's talk a little bit about, because I know we probably need to like start wrapping it up. I want to show y'all something. 2 things. One is this right here. Dawn and I, when we started selling Mary Kay,
Mhm.
this was our beauty book. This is everything we sold. This is it. Okay. We had hair products. We had all kind of stuff. But the prices, you guys, like a foundation was $10. The cleanser was $9. This, a pencil was $5. And we still were selling, having $200-$300 parties. Today, we have a top of the line product. This is our newest catalog that just came out.
Mhm.
And so women will spend, there's a repair set in here that I use, and it's $215, and people don't blink an eye
No.
to buy this repair set. And compared to other brands, the quality, we are the #1 best-selling brand of skincare and color cosmetic in the direct selling industry in the whole
Yeah.
entire world for the
Mhm.
2nd year in a row.
Yep.
So you guys, I just wanted to show you, we have, like, back in the day, most people had not tried Mary Kay, even though I'd been in like 20 years or so, the company. But today, it has such a good reputation that honestly, you can get on a QVC style Facebook party and tell about it, and people will buy it. That's
Right.
the truth.
Yeah.
Because we have that stellar reputation. Also, I want to just show you this, Dawn.
Oh my gosh.
Read it.
Beauty of Mary Kay. No woman need ever look. You got to move it over a little bit.
40. No
Oh.
woman need ever look 40. These are the placemats that my grandmother gave me. And you can believe, is that not hilarious? Like,
Oh my
yes,
gosh.
because they're like old lady. And so
Yeah.
that's what the placemats to put our mirrors and trays on said. No woman need ever look 40. So
Oh my
it's always
gosh.
been about, and by the way, like if you don't know who Mary Kay is, this is a picture of her and Richard Rogers. This is from 1996, a picture that we took on stage of her and Richard. We did get to meet her. She's the real deal. Y'all. And
Oh, yeah.
So they
Real
did.
deal.
And this was out, this was the year you and I were in some of the prizes, and they used to give away mink coats, you guys.
Yeah,
I mean,
I have one.
then people used to start egging us outside of the Dallas, and we
Yeah.
had to stop doing
Yeah.
that. But
Mhm.
they do give away beautiful prizes. I mean, I literally had one pair of earrings in my wedding ring when I signed up Mary Kay. I was not a jewelry person. But also fun things like this that I found today. It's a pink Cadillac telephone, you guys, real one. And when we used to have landlines, well, I mean, we plug it in and the lights would go off,
Yeah.
and I would answer my pink Cadillac, do my booking calls on this little cute thing. I just had to show it to you.
So cute. I think
Why
I
don't
missed
I-
that. I don't remember that.
It's so cute.
It
Why
is.
don't I show? I'm going to share the screen and show how you get in, Mary Kay, because
Okay, so we're going to stop right there. I just had to show you that. You know, I want to stretch your mind. Those of you who are not going to seminar this year for whatever reason, I just had a notification yesterday. Now, I paid $593 for my plane ticket. And I got notified yesterday that the plane tickets dropped to 401. And I'm going like, oh, well, I already bought mine. So whatever reason you're not going, you need to start working to go. You need not to miss the events because they're life-changing. Obviously, did you see that stuff? I remember that starter kit. I remember the starter kit that opened up with all the tubes in there because my ex-mother-in-law, I was married for a brief year. That's how I got in. She had one of those kits and she opened it up and she gave it to me. And I looked at it with all those tubes and I didn't wear makeup and I didn't use skincare. And I looked at all those tubes and I'm going like, what are those tubes? There was foundations. There was a yellow concealer, a green concealer, a purple concealer, had all of this stuff in there. But so I remember that starter kit. But how do you like that placemat? No one need ever look 40. Hello. I'm over 40. I didn't get into Mary Kay till I was in my mid 40s, but I just thought that was hilarious. Just hilarious. But so what are some of your takeaways on the business part, or being an order taker or being a business owner? What are your takeaways? Anybody? Because I see more people now that start Mary Kay want to be an order taker. I will just see what everybody wants, and then I'll know if it's going to work for me. It's all a flip of the switch to be a business owner. You are a business owner. You are what you think you are. But don't let the outside people talk you down and tell you, oh, you're selling Mary Kay. Oh, people are going to try to talk you out of it. They're going to say, oh, well, so-and-so didn't, like she said, so-and-so wasn't successful at that. Not everybody is successful, but it's what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. What you put in, the effort you put in is what you're going to get out of it. Because, and she said that truck driver on stage won as a queen, and they were afraid the 4-letter words that was going to come out. Yeah, truck drivers back in the day, they used to talk, and those 4-letter words weren't very good. But I was a truck driver too. I've never been queen, but I have been on stage many times, but not for queen. And that one lady, when you go to seminar, you will see, she said that one lady was queen. She was 85 years old. She was blind. Somebody else was driving her pink Cadillac and driving her around. I'm just saying, we have people like that. We have people who can't walk. We have people who are blind. We have all of that in Mary Kay. And you will see it when you go to seminar. And you'll see it when they cross the stage and get their diamonds and get their prizes. You'll see it. You're thinking like, well, how can she do that? I can walk, I can do all this thing. I'm not blind. Why can't I do it if she did it? It makes you wonder how is she being successful? She's just not quitting. You just can't quit, you guys. You just can't quit. That's all I'm going to tell you. It's a matter of just keep going. Your bounce back ability when you got to learn to let things roll off your back. Have a 2-minute pity party, get over it, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, run over your starter kit, go get it, dust it off, pick it back up, and get back to work. If you truly, truly, truly need to make extra money and not just dabble, because hobbies cost you money and a business does not cost you money. Hobbies will cost you money. So if you're in it to make money, and you're in it for the long haul, for the duration. Obviously, I'm in it for the duration because I've been in almost 25 years. And it just all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, 25 years, that long already? Time flies when you're working. Time flies when you're working. Does not drag at all. Unlike when you're punching a time clock, it drags. You go to work, you punch it, you go like, oh, isn't it lunch yet? Oh, isn't it break time yet? I'm just saying, been there, done that, been there, done that. Okay, so anybody got any comments on that before we roll into some selling stuff, strategy? No? I don't know if anybody's chatting on Facebook or not, because I can't see. Hold on, let me see if I could.
I also said if you have inventory, you're a business owner too.
Yeah, you are. I was one that started Mary Kay, and I didn't have access to have an inventory. I didn't know anything about inventory, but my husband that I was married to for that brief year, he borrowed his mom's credit card and got me some product. However, let's get this straight. However, when he threw me and my son out into the streets and all of our stuff was thrown out in the front yard, and I was working in Reno, and that's where we were at that weekend, all my inventory was gone.
No boy.
I left with a starter kit to start over in Reno. I had no inventory. So let me just tell you that it does happen that way. It does. And you can start over. I picked up and started over in a state that I didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
Yep. So you can start your business anywhere you go.
Anywhere.
Yep. Really flexible.
Amen.
Did you like anything special? What did you pick out special about that, Melissa? You liked all that stuff that they were talking about?
I didn't realize I was unmuted.
Oh yeah, but no.
I
that's
muted
all right.
it.
Okay,
Yeah, I did. I liked hearing what they had to say and hearing their stories and just the wisdom that they have to share from their experience in their business, but around when Mary Kay was alive.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I have so much wisdom in my tub out here with all those CDs and cassette tapes. I listened to all of them over and over again. My car, I used my car as a training. We didn't have internet, so I mean, it was
Right.
but I use the CDs as training all the time in my brain. That's what was talking to me all the time. That's why I did the Court of Sales so much, is because and recruited so many people and got in. I wish I had all the people that I've recruited in our unit today. We would be at least 700, but we're not there. So anyway, it's just a matter of what you feed your brain and what's going to come out. If you're feeding your brain positive stuff and things to learn, then you're going to motivate yourself. You're going to be better as a person, and just life lessons. And you're going to be better in your Mary Kay, better to your family, better to everybody else around you. Give you more positive and a positive outlook when you're punching a time clock at a job that you don't like because you have to. I don't care if it's cleaning a toilet or driving a truck, whatever it is, you'll change your outlook on how you perceive things, and you'll make it better, and you'll get customers along the way. So that's what I'm going to say. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into some selling ideas. Has anybody got any sales ideas for Memorial Weekend is coming up, and I didn't really realize when we were on the hot call the other day, and 5/25/25 is Sunday. 5/25/25. Now there's a lot of things you can do for this next week, because we have a week and a half left. I mean, we still got a ways to go, but you can start your sale anytime. But there's a couple things that stuck out to me on the hot call. One of them is using the new products and marketing them as a vacation in a bottle, a vacation in a bottle. It's the Confident perfume with the lavender and coconut set and the lip.
Yes.
Yeah, vacation in a bottle. You could do a pic collage with those things on there, create a vacation in a bottle and start marketing it that way. It's just a marketing thing. Yeah. So, and then another thing that TK was talking about was moving 111 $20 items, 111 $20 items. If you move 111, 20, and break it down into the days. So how many days do we have left? We have, what day are we on? We're on the 20th. So we actually have 10 days left after today, 11 days. So 111 items in 11 days. Let me see if I have to use a calculator. My brain's not thinking. So we want to take 111 items and divide it by 11. And that leaves 10 items a day. So if you or your team were to move 111 items, $20 items, you would have $2,220 in sales. So if you were to move 10 items a day, I mean, that's a hustle. But if you partner up with somebody on your team, if you have a team, partner up with them and get it moved. And then another thing you can do is TK was talking about, like on Monday, which was yesterday, you could do it next Monday. You could start in the middle of the week. You could start tomorrow. Tomorrow would be Miracle Set Wednesday. To work to sell 5 miracle sets and give them because it's Memorial Week, Memorial Weekend's coming up. You could actually sell them for $99. You could actually, let me back up. You could actually start on Sunday and go through, because the month ends on the 31st, which is a Saturday. You could actually start on Sunday, which is kick off your Memorial Week sale on Sunday, 5/25/25. You can do a 25% off site-wide sale, which is 25% off if they go on you have to be active. You have to have your website set up, and you can have it set up to be 25%, I think 25% off. I'm not sure, I'd have to look, but they can go on there and order and get 25% off. And the key to that is, let me just tell you, I'm going to tell you ahead of time, is they have to register on your website. They have to register. That means they have to fill out a profile on your website in order to get the 25% off. I don't think that just Susie down the street can jump on there and get 25% off if she's not registered. She has to fill out a profile on there in order to get the 25% off, just so you know. Because I've had people go on and look, or go on to do it, and it doesn't show up 25% off, but they have to register in order to shop on your website. So you can't get, they try to protect us against people scamming us. So, but that's the way you can kick it off, doing a customer appreciation. Or you can try to sell $25 to 25 people on Sunday. Okay, on Sunday, $25, do a 24 and 24 or 24 challenge, but this is a 25 and 24. 25 to 25 and 24. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? Let me total that up. What would that be in sales? I don't know what that would be. Hold on. My phone is locked and it's not unlocked. Okay, $25 to 25 people. Be $625 in one day. If you did that, if you kickstarted that, that'd be $625 in one day with the sales. Okay, so then you can roll into Monday, which would be, Monday could be, you can pick your own items if you want, but Monday could be selling Confidently You perfumes, the new perfumes. Move 5, just 5 perfumes, and I would give them a discount. I would probably give them either $49, $6 off the perfume, to help you move 5 perfumes, to help you sell 5 perfumes. You have a challenge to sell 5 perfumes on Monday, and you'll give it to them for $49. So basically, you're losing out on $3, but you're going to move a ton of products in the next week. And then on Tuesday, you can sell a bundle, 10 masks and 10 oil, or 10 mascaras and 10 oil-free eye makeup removers as a bundle set. And it depends on the mascara that you sell. The oil-free eye makeup remover is 20, so the mascara is probably 16. You can do a price on there. You can take a few dollars off and do a special price. I didn't write down the price, but you're going to try to sell 10 of them, 10 bundles. So if you were to say we're doing a $16 mascara, or all mascara 16, and we got some 18, huh? So we got 20. Let me just do a 16. Now let's do the new mascara. It's 18. So that's $38. So if you were to sell 10 of them, it would be $380. But if you want to do a discount, instead of $38, sell it to them for $35. And you're still $350 for one day. And then on Wednesday, do the miracle set. Try to sell 5 miracle sets, and just tell them if they help you out with and purchase one of the miracle sets, instead of $116, they'll get it for $99. So you're going to give them a discount. And then on Thursday, you can sell the Time Wise repair sets. Just sell 2 Time Wise repair sets. Instead of $215, sell them for $199. That will get you people on the Time Wise repair set. Because your goal is to get customers on the skincare. That's where you make your money. I'm just telling you, the people that buy foundations and eyeshadows and just mascaras, you're not going to make a ton of money. I'm just telling you that, because I have customers that are just on makeup, just on foundation, and she orders a couple times a year. Okay, foundations are $26. Hello? Time Wise repair set, $215. She has to order parts of that repair set every 3 to 4 months. Which one are you going to make more money on? Skincare. So your goal is to find skincare customers, but you will sell them makeup on top of. So you guys have any other ideas that you've heard or saw you want to share? I didn't get Friday's tip. I don't know what she did for Fridays. Those are just some ideas. You know, you can pick out what items you want for each day and set a goal. What is your goal to sell by the end of the month? Is it 2,000? Is it 1,000? Is it 500? What's your goal? Do you have a goal?
Hey, Val,
Yeah.
what about like tax-free weekend, Memorial Day tax-free?
Oh,
You can do it all weekend, tax-free.
That's simple.
I usually do that one for July 4th
Hmm.
because it's like in 1 month. But that one is simple. You can do it twice.
Yeah.
I might have flyers for that.
That'd be cool.
They're probably red, white, and blue. But anybody else have any
That's
ideas?
okay. Memorial Day is red, white, and blue
I
because
know,
it's flag.
right?
It's flag. Yeah, that'll work
Yeah.
too.
It's all red, white, and blue.
Mm-hmm.
But I might have some from previous years. Might have to change the wording on it. So you might have to put it in Pic Collage and change the wording. But yeah, let me look and see what I have. I have all kinds of stuff that I do for customer sales. But I know that in June, I am doing my June summer clearance. Let me show you my granddaughter wants me. I know, I hear you, sweetie. Hold on a second.
I'm hoping the company does some extra discounts for the skincare so we can move a bunch of skincare.
Oh, yeah. That would be
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, you changing your house? Okay.
Hey, Melissa,
Yeah.
Lois and I are headed out to Honor Working Women on Friday.
Oh,
Down to Bakersfield with us.
on Friday?
Yeah,
Oh, gosh.
that's okay. Just
Hold on.
Okay, so I'm doing this and they came out really good. I don't know if you guys can see it. My June summer clearance. Now I actually, and then on the back side, it shows this with my name. But I actually got them printed last year at Office Depot. And they did not come out this good. I got these printed at FedEx office. And I don't remember the price of them, but they were, when I saw my total was going to be for the thing, all the things I got these, I got 160 of these postcards to send out to my customers. And I got some other stuff printed to send out to the unit. And it was going to be like, I saw the total on there is 206. And I just went, okay, I hadn't planned for that. Then she put in my Mary Kay discount. I paid like $43 or $48 for all of my stuff. And I had tons. I probably had 78 copies for my unit printed up. And then I had 160 of these, or I had 40 of these front back and then cut into fours, cardstock printed. But these turned out so good. I am so happy with these. I just have to go get the stamps and start getting them labeled to send out. I do a June summer clearance. I'm doing it for a while. I will not implement the special deals that Monica does for June. I do not do it. I do it in May. I do it in July. But for June, I don't let them double dip. They only get this. And with this discount, it's only about 20% off. But it gets them, it just sounds like it's a better deal. It's all a mind thing. They think they're getting buy 2 items. Oh, I get the third one half price and the fourth one free. Remember, it's equal value or less. And you charge the tax down here. It says tax is calculated on retail amount, not the sale price, the retail amount. Make sure you get your tax because you don't want to have to pay taxes on the money that you make. So we make sure we pay Uncle Sam the taxes. We pay for the product and we pay the retail amount on the taxes. Make sure you reimburse yourself and get your tax money back. Okay. Anybody else got any ideas? Or what they're doing, what's doing is working? I just know I got people booked. I got somebody booked Thursday, somebody booked Friday, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 booked on Saturday. I don't think I have anybody. No, and then next Tuesday. So I have 5, 6, 7, 8 people booked for the rest of the month so far. And I'm still doing booking calls. So I want to work till the end. You work to the last day of the last minute to hit your goals. I don't know what my goal is yet, but I just know I got to make it bigger than what it is because it's not enough. Just saying. I always think big. And I always track my numbers. So I want to do better than what I did last year at this time. So if this is your first year of doing it, or you didn't track last year, work like you did track last year. Set a goal and actually try to really work to hit it. To set a big goal. Don't set a little tiny goal that you can hit easily. Set a big goal, like like you do when you're doing gift giving and all that stuff for Christmas and the holidays and all that. Angelique used to tell us, take it and double it. So you want 2,000, so double it to 4,000. Because this is the deal. When you keep it low and say you set it from $1,000 or $500 is all I want to sell this month, then you know what? You might fall short because you're not going to work really hard to hit it. You need to get something that you're going to actually work to hit. That's the way it is. Work to hit it. So my goal is actually to beat whatever I did last year at this time. And I'm tracking it. I don't know where I'm at. I'll have to look and see what my numbers are at. I checked it last weekend and I was still about $1,000 behind what I did last year. That means I have to sell that much more. And I thought, oh, I got 2 weeks to do that. So I slacked off a little, but no, I'm going back at it. So I figured $1,000 in 2 weeks isn't too bad. That should be easy, but maybe it won't be. It just depends on how my customer, my customers respond. So anyway, okay, you guys, is that it? Anybody else got anything they want to add? I don't know if Karen and FedEx keeps my order on file. I can send you the email that I sent that has the PDFs attached. They should have it for like a brief time.
So I wonder if they would, like say, can you, I don't know how I would do it, because if you were to, I don't know. Okay.
If you wanted this postcard,
Yeah.
I would just you're gonna have to have somebody either take my name off of it or just get the front side printed. One-sided, it'll be cheaper. I have it double-sided in color, but that's the way I roll. That's how I roll. I roll big. If I'm gonna do it, I roll big. My Pink Friday sale postcard, I do the same thing. I roll big. I throw it out there. I pay the money, I pay the postage, and everybody goes, oh my gosh, you're gonna pay a lot. Yeah, you are. But you know what? When you sell $5,000 or $6,000 in the month of November, $40 ain't nothing. You know what I mean? It's just nothing. You make it back. So in June, I plan on selling, $5,000. I'll look and see what I did last June, but $4,000 or $5,000 easy. The $20 that cost me for my postcards, and then the stamps are going to be the most expensive thing. And they might be, I don't know, $40 or $50, but say I spent $100 on all of it, but yet I sell $4,000 for the month. Do you think it pays for it? Yeah, it does. And it's a tax write-off. All this is a tax write-off. Just so you know, and the stamps, it's all a tax write-off. Keep it for your taxes. Keep the receipts for your taxes. It's called advertising.
And you can put that in your reorders as well.
Yeah, you can drop them in reorders if you wanted.
Yeah.
If you have a lot of customers that reordered, you can drop them in there. Okay, so I email it out, I text it out, and I mail it out to only 160 out of about 360 people are going to get a postcard. I'll go through and see who doesn't have an email address. Because some of my people don't get a book because they don't purchase a lot. They only purchased a little. And so therefore, I just put them on the email list to get emails. I took their address out of my preferred customer program, out of my customers, took their address out. So they'll get an email with it, and I may mail them a postcard, because they're not getting a physical book. They're only getting a digital book. And then the people that don't have an email at all are not getting any of the information. Some of them believe it or not, I have a customer or 2 or 3, maybe more, that have landline and they don't have a cell phone and they don't use the cell phone to text. They have one. Just saying.
Yeah.
You got to cover all ways. Always. They will get a postcard. But the people with the birthday next month won't get a postcard because they already get 20% off. So just things you have to keep track of. I mean, it's a matter of just sitting down for a few minutes and taking note of where you're at, what needs to be done, and then just implement what you learn. So anybody else got anything to say? Yeah? No? I don't see anybody commenting on Facebook, so I guess we're good. Okay, you guys, next week, I think we're going to be in person next week. It's the end of the month, so we're coming together at Starbucks. Melissa needs to come down And meet us at Starbucks. Right? Come meet us at Starbucks. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's a good thing. I like meeting at Starbucks. You know, we used to meet in person all the time. We didn't have the web, you know, and I don't know if I could take my computer. Let me think about it. I may take my computer and still Zoom. I don't know if I'll stream into Facebook though. So, I mean, I could do it, but it's hard because you're in Starbucks and you have to train and do things and it's hard to focus. Yeah. Let me see. But anyway, you guys make it a great week and check in with your director. Let her know what you're doing. If you have any questions, if you have any ideas, please share because we can all bounce back our ideas and implement. You may help somebody with an idea and take your idea and run with it. Okay. That goes for you too, Lois. You have an idea, bounce it back.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You're going out working Women's Day or something? Karen?
Friday.
Yeah, you guys are going out Friday?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Go, girls, go.
Mhm.
I got
All right.
Okay,
Anyway.
I'm gonna stop the recording and then I'll get off of Facebook.